Oh my God, it's so hot. Yes, breeze, please. Anyway, I was having a little bit of a laugh as I was sort of setting up my station for the video today because my phone is, that's how I record my videos, is stacked on a stack of books. It's propped on a stack of books. And one of the books is Persuasion by Jane Austen. Like, here, hold on, I'll show you. I guess I could have just, anyway. Actually, yeah, because won't this mess with my height now? Eee! I am so hot. Yeah, so it's a very pretty, like, I haven't read it yet. I've had it for many a year. I've read Pride and Prejudice. Did I read any other Jane Austen novels? I know I started this at one point because I vividly sort of remember some of the earlier pages where she's talking about her dad. And I just, sorry to say, sort of lost interest. It's almost like when, see, there's like little dust things because it's a fabric covering. It's really beautiful. And I kind of want to get like Pride and Prejudice in this sort of binding as well. I'll have to keep an eye out on it. I just saw this by chance at Barnes & Noble one day and was like, I have to buy it. As one does. Because I remember reading about the part, sorry, where she's talking about her dad, and it reminded me so much of, I tried reading The Hobbit. I don't know when that was. It was sometime in late college, I think. And I just could not get past the chapter, or who knows, maybe a few chapters where they were just talking about all the dwarves. And I'm just like, oh my God, can we get to the story? And unfortunately, I think that was just sort of the case. I feel bad because I do want to read it. Jane Austen is a wonderful writer. I unfortunately haven't read a lot of Jane Austen, surprisingly. I guess because, you know, there's also the Bronte and all of that. Anyway, total huge tangent. English-Trish. Okay, let's calm down. I wasn't planning on doing this video. This was a spur-of-the-moment decision. I watched Persuasion. Actually, my mom and I had a little bit of a date, a little mother-daughter date, when I saw that it dropped, because I'd seen the trailer literally, I think, the day before, maybe 2 days before that. I happened to see it on YouTube, and had no idea that this movie was coming out. And I love period pieces. I mean, I think it's longer than an hour-long video where I talk about Pride and Prejudice, just like breaking down things that I loved, which was a lot, and other sort of questions or whatever. Anyway, so if that would interest you, it's somewhere on this channel. But I love period romance pieces, and you know, I think that's one of the things about Bridgerton season 2 that was such a, I mean, I've already said this before, but I'll say it again. I was so drawn to watching it. One, because I'd seen the first season and I liked it and I was curious. But two, because Simone Ashley playing the lead actress, and she's this beautiful Indian actress. And yeah, we love to see people of color in lead roles. And that's one of the few things that I liked about Persuasion. Did I say hey yet? I don't think I did. Hi YouTube friends. It's Trish here, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. Today I'm talking about Persuasion. A mess. Watch me have already said this and I just don't remember. It's completely possible. Anyway, I love how this was supposed to be this quick thing, and here I am just jabbering on. And especially for a person of color, being able to see other people of color play in these sorts of roles that otherwise would not have been a possibility at all. I mean, I love it. I have to go see Mr. Malcolm's List. I will go see Mr. Malcolm's List. It's just, we haven't gotten it. This was easy. It was on Netflix. I could just put it on the TV. Mr. Malcolm's List involves like getting tickets and going over, and yeah, I know. It's so easy. It really is, but I haven't gotten around to it, but I will, because I also love Frida Pinto. Yes. So anyway, Persuasion. Now, I don't think I've even watched previous movies that are, because I believe there are 2 other films that are adaptations of the book, and I don't think I've seen them. I'm a huge Pride and Prejudice fan, but like I've seen the Gwyneth Paltrow Emma a few times, and the recent one with it is Joy Taylor, right? Anna Joy Taylor, not Taylor Joy. I might be getting that wrong. I don't know why I always want to flip it. Anyway, and she did a marvelous job, and that was a really good movie. I've seen Sense and Sensibility with Emma Thompson quite a few times. Kate Winslet. It's a good one. Oh, and Alan Rickman, R.I.P. Alan Rickman. Whenever I think about him, because I also just actually watched Harry Potter 3 today during work. So whenever I'm like rewatching the movies or the Harry Potter movies or whatever, and I just, my heart like aches because, oh my God, what a talent, gone too soon. R.I.P. Alan Rickman. It's so sad. Robin Williams too, like something about him came up on my feed, my Instagram feed not too long ago, and oh my God, what an integral part of my childhood, and R.I.P. Robin Williams. Anyway, come on Trish, you're 10 minutes in. Can we start actually talking about the movie? Okay, so I didn't read the book, didn't really know much going into it other than I watched The Lake House with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, and in there it's her favorite book, and at one point she sort of just gives a general breakdown of the story when he asks her what's it about and what makes it her favorite. And I think that is what inspired me to want to actually read it and get the book, because it does sound just so, just the yearning in it, and also frustrating because, you know, it's the story of them just sort of like hiding from each other how much they still care for one another even after all this time. Anyway, you just like, it's sort of a slow burn sort of book. Also insane because you know from the start that they love each other. I mean, it's not something that's building or creeping up on you or anything like that. It's there from the beginning. Like, the characters love each other. It's just the situation. And so with a storyline like that, I mean, I was really intrigued to watch this movie too because Dakota Johnson's playing the lead. And if I can separate this movie away from thinking of it as a Jane Austen adaptation, I like her. I thought she did a good job. I liked her reactions whenever she was breaking the fourth wall or reacting to like her family being sort of ridiculous, or just people around her and things happening. Like, that was amusing and it was entertaining. But even while I was watching it, I was thinking, this can't be how the story is, because it was very reminiscent of Emma with the Anna Joy Taylor, I think. Watch me be so wrong. Anyway, I don't know, I can't remember now if she breaks the fourth wall, but it has that sort of snappy humor. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very similar, and I can't imagine that Jane Austen would have two different lead women for two different novels be the same characteristic. I mean, the majority of the ladies in her, not the majority of the ladies, but I guess the leads have somewhat of a woman out of their time feel to them, I think, but generally in different ways. And I've watched a few YouTubers talk about this rendition and talk on how it completely missed the mark, apparently. And unfortunately, Dakota Johnson, and I don't think it's any fault to her, it's just how the film was written. Yeah, apparently that's not how Anne Elliot is. So, and anyway, there was something about it that I could just tell that that was the case while watching it. And I didn't really sense the chemistry between her and Frederick all that much. Maybe a little bit more from her end, because literally the entire movie is her sort of talking about him or yearning about him, or it's that in her family, right? And she's just like, anyway, so yeah, I didn't, outside of that, which he's not in those scenes for, it's her talking about him. And so it's just Dakota Johnson, a solo actress, in that scene, not having to play with anyone else. So in the scenes where they are together, I will say that in some of the scenes, like when they're in the carriage after Louisa just sort of jumps and he doesn't catch her, there, a weird scene to choose to say this comment, but like there's a comfortability that is there, obviously, because they do know each other from the past and do have somewhat of a history, so there is that. But the whole like romantic sort of tension, these are supposed to be two characters that are just really in love with each other and misunderstanding the whole situation, I didn't really get that sense. Whereas the playful banter between her and Henry Golding's character of Mr. Elliot, which, oh my god, knocked that out of the park. I was beginning to sort of really want to see them together. Which, like, as I'm watching, especially once we got to the inn, and he's like, well, now you're in my way. And they're having their playful banter there. That's where it sort of started, where I'm like, I kind of want to see her end up with him. And then they're at the party at her place, and at night they're sitting on the couch, and he just bluntly and plainly tells her that, yeah, I'm trying to like make sure your dad doesn't get hitched. So, especially over there, it was just starting to grow so much more, and you know, she's even sort of questioning her own stamina or whatever against sort of like keeping him abreast. That's not the right term. Abreast is like making sure they know about everything, keeping him at bay. That's what I meant. And yeah, I started to really want to see those two come together, but of course that wasn't going to be the case. So I don't know. I think all the actors play their parts well for what was meant to be. I mean, I'm assuming just for how it was written and laid out for them and what they were supposed to do, they played their parts well. I mean, they're all very, especially the younger sister's Mary, right? And the older sister's Elizabeth. Well, really both of them, but we saw a lot more of Mary, and it's just, oh my God, she's so ridiculous, but amazingly so. So it was an okay film. A lot of the shots were beautiful, and I think that that's something that you come to expect a little bit for these period romances. I mean, nothing can top Joe Wright's Pride and Prejudice. Sorry, nothing can. But this comes kind of close sometimes. There's that one, oh my God, the scene where they're walking up the cliff. Oh, actually, as they're about to meet Mr. Elliot or run into him on that cliffside, but as they're walking up, the camera's like far away and tilted, I think matching the incline of the cliff and sort of like going up. I don't know. I don't know what was happening there, but I loved seeing it. So yeah, there were some really beautiful shots. I think the music was nice. I think it was a good attempt, but not quite there. And that's always a little frustrating to see because, you know, you would rather it be really thought through and fleshed out. And maybe this is exactly what they wanted to put out there. But when you're adapting a classical piece, to me, you either kind of stick to the source material and really make sure your characters embody what those characters are going through in the book and really tell that story, or you go completely left field and it's more of you're taking the ideas from the story. And think of it as Bride and Prejudice with Ish-of-Trish, which sort of is the story of Pride and Prejudice, just dealing with like this Indian family and like all these sisters, but they're all playing the parts. But even there, it's like you could clearly see each character in the more modernized setting, you know? So it's just, I feel like this film was at a weird halfway point because they also had some phrasings that did not sound like something that would come out of an Austen book at all. So that was strange. I just feel with so many movies and shows that are now coming out, sort of dealing with that time period, this one, Persuasion, Netflix's Persuasion, just seems to just be missing that list. And they had the book. That's what I don't get it. And I haven't even read the book, but I know that, like, I don't think that that's how it was. At one point, Mary, the younger sister, is talking about how she's an empath. Again, that sort of like weirdly modernized like lingo being thrown in there. And of course, as Anne has been doing throughout the film, she like picks up on it and suggests that she stays behind or whatever. And so, I don't know, in the film they kind of had her clearly feeling that black sheep, like she's the black sheep, she's not like her family, and she actually kind of finds her family ridiculous. And then come to like listen to YouTubers talk about how, wow, Anne's character is not like that at all. I mean, she does feel other people's emotions and knows and wants to always make other people feel comfortable and happy, and that's why she like suggests to do things. And I'm like, oh, so she's just grade 1 people pleaser in the book. And over here, it's almost like you understand why Frederick makes that comment to Louisa, saying that Anne's pride just takes form in a different way, because she, like, when she's standing on the outskirts of a gathering or a party, it's so she has a more clearer vantage point to harshly judge others, which I was like, damn, called out, because it, throughout the film, did sort of feel like that's what was going on. I mean, I don't feel with any malicious intent or to say it to anyone else. It's just what she was doing. And apparently that's not her character at all. I don't know. I would have liked to see this book in a movie format. And it sounds like that's not what I saw. So I'm gonna go check out the other two renditions. But for what it is, it's a movie. It's a Netflix movie. It was fine, I guess. It just wasn't quite what I was expecting. And even though I have no idea what I'm talking about because I haven't read the book, I still knew enough to know that. Can't speak today. Anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to say, I think. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know why this shirt is like that. I'm sorry. I've been like probably messing with it throughout the whole... Anyway, yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I don't know what that was. Toodles.